Hello, bonjour, namaste, ni hao, and ohio, everybody. What is going on? It is Gail Wright here. Welcome back to the YouTube channel once again for another video. And today, I'm going to be hosting a community Q&A session. Yes, a few days ago, I asked you guys to leave some questions for me in the comment section of my community post, where I asked you guys basically to drop these questions, be it personal questions, Danmachi or Danmimo related questions, or even questions related to the future of this channel. I would be making a video separately and I would be responding to them. Well, this is that video basically, and I'm going to be responding to your guys' questions underneath this community post. Now, of course, if you guys go on to enjoy this video, please be sure to leave a like down below, subscribe to the channel for more content like this, and of course, let me know if you want to see more personal stuff like this on the channel in the near future. I want to try and do more personalized content with Danmachi as well involved in it, maybe opinions about certain arcs and stuff like that. Let me know if you guys would like to see more stuff like that. And of course, if you didn't get an opportunity to ask me a question, because I know that some people don't tend to see the community tab, if you want me to answer any question that you have and it's not too personal like I said here, leave it in the comment section of this video and I'll get around to replying to it, of course, in the comment section. I won't make an instant like part 2 to this video. I'm probably gonna leave a part 2 to this video to come out after Battle Chronicle releases, so keep on the lookout for that maybe. But of course, if you want to get a question answered anytime soon, leave it in the comment section of this video. Now, of course, like I said, I'm hoping that there's not too many personal questions. Of course, very personal questions. I don't mind answering certain things, but I'm very curious to see what you guys have asked. I've tried to keep away from the comments of this community post. I wanted this to be a first look at the questions and an instantaneous response, rather than being ready beforehand, with a script written down saying, oh, I'll say this for this question or I'll say that for this question. I did see one or two questions, of course, which I'll come to, of course, in a moment. But outside of that, I've tried to keep away from a lot of the questions. And this is going to be my first time looking at, like, I would say 80% of the questions. So let's get into the Q&A and let's start answering some of your questions. And the very first question we have is from @DecoB6173. They're asking, what do I think about fanfiction generally or just Danmachi? And to start off the answer to your question, I rarely talk about fanfiction. First and foremost, I've never spoken about it when I was on Twitch, when I started this Gail Wright persona and Gail Wright profile. I never talked about fanfiction since 2017 till recently. And of course, with the YouTube channel, I've started talking about it a little bit in public, of course, because the Danmachi fan base loves their fanfic. In fact, some people believe that Danmachi fanfic writers are better than Amori Sensei, which IMO is a little bit debatable, and it's a ground for a future discussion video potentially. Let me know if you would like to see something like that happen in the future, where we have a discussion video on which one is actually better, Amori Sensei or fanfic writers. But I rarely talk about it, right? I rarely talk about it. I just drop nuggets here and there, but I don't talk about it beyond that. Now, being honest, and of course that's the idea of this video, is to be truthful to you guys and respond to your guys' questions as truthfully as possible. I love fan fiction. I love specifically fluffy and wholesome fan fiction. I read a lot of those types of fan fiction because I use it as a form of escapism. The world is a dark place right now, right? And I don't like talking about this because it's a very downbeat topic, and I like to keep a positive attitude on this channel as much as I can, right? When it comes to everything that happens in regards to Danmimo, Danmachi, Battle Chronicle, you name it. I try and find positives in negatives when it comes to all these sort of things. Of course, some of my videos tend to be a little bit negative in the sense of like I'm just saying I'm disappointed in this, I'm disappointed in that, but I always try and find a positive out of that as well at the same time, right? Obviously when it comes to the real world, that's the way you have to go about life as well, right? You have to find the positive things in the world, and sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's very, very hard to find positives in the real world, so you tend to try and deviate to anime, manga, games, fan fiction, you name it, right? You try and deviate to those things. And unfortunately for me, the games that I tend to play or the anime and manga I tend to watch, while more often than not they're positive, they tend to also have negative elements. So I try and use fan fiction as an also additional way of being able to experience some more wholesome moments, some more positive moments in life, so that I can have a smile on my face at the end of it all, right? At the end of the day, if I'm going to bed and I read a fan fiction that's pretty wholesome and fluffy as hell, I go to bed with a smile on my face, rather than stressing about oh, I don't have a place to stay, which is currently what's happening. I'm like trying to figure out a place to rent. I'm trying to figure out if I have the money to rent. I'm trying to figure out if I can find a job very soon, a part-time job or a full-time job. I'm trying to figure out all these things, and it tends to, stagger, and it tends to build up a lot, right? And of course you need something to kind of deviate your mind from all of those things. Now that's not to say that you should just ignore those problems, because if you ignore those problems, they will build up even more, right? But you need to figure out a way to kind of balance the two, where you're not getting fully stressed out by those negative things, but at the same time you're able to experience fan fiction or anime or manga or games that will allow you to come out of that a little bit more positive, a little bit more happier in life, and a little bit more, get a little bit of enjoyment in your life, because otherwise you're just gonna get stressed out by a bunch of things that you shouldn't necessarily get super stressed out about, purely because it'll just lead you to having very bad thoughts and a very, very, very bad mindset, unfortunately. So I try and have a nice balance of obviously take those things into consideration, make sure you're approaching those things with care, but also at the same time don't let it swamp you entirely, and try and use your other methods, be it anime, manga, games, fan fiction, whatever it may be, to pull you out of a funk, potentially pull you out of from that from the ensnarement that is, of course, the real life, of course, right? So for me, fan fiction is a nice form of escapism, especially fluffy and wholesome fan fictions, but it's more so to get me in a better mood than anything else. So yeah, for me, fan fiction is a great form of escapism, and I think there are fantastic writers out there. Right now I'm reading, funnily enough, a story by a author who's writing a Harry Potter story, funnily enough, and they're doing a fantastic job with it. It is very, very, very nicely written. It's super wholesome, super nice, it's super fluffy, and I'm really, really enjoying it. So for me, I think those sorts of fan fiction, absolutely fantastic. So that's my personal take on fan fiction. The next question is from at Johnny Elia. Sorry, I'm mispronouncing your name, to all hell and back, Johnny. At Johnny 1688 is what I'll call you. What do you consider your greatest accomplishment? That's a tough question, personally, to be quite honest, because I feel like there are a lot of moments that I could probably pin out, but I feel like at the same time I wouldn't necessarily count them as great accomplishments, because the thing is, this is a mindset that I have, and it's a bad mindset, in all honesty. I compare my accomplishments to other people's accomplishments, and if I compare mine to some other people's, they're in no way, shape, or form great at all, in all honesty. And I think that is, for me personally, it's a bad mindset. It's a bad mindset, because I'm always comparing my accomplishments to other people's accomplishments, and I will be putting myself down as a result of that. I'll be feeling negative, or I might be putting somebody else down personally, but it's more so me that I'm putting down, because I'm always like, oh, this person had a better accomplishment than me, this person is working, I'm not working, oh no, what am I gonna do, kind of thing, right? So I tend to do that a lot, but I think being honest to myself, and I think being real with me for a second, I think my greatest accomplishment is coming back from failure. Honestly, I think that is my biggest accomplishment, was coming back from failure, because during my second year of engineering, I was in a very, very bad spot. I was in a horrendous spot during my second year of engineering, and I was failing. I was absolutely failing, and I failed at the end of the year, and I was told that I had to redo my year. And of course, at that point I was like very much considering on giving up. I was like, engineering's not for me. I made a very bad decision, and in hindsight, I probably did. I could have probably gotten maximum points, or as close to maximum points if possible, if I'd done like a business course instead, or something at university level. Like right now I'm doing my master's, and I'm absolutely acing my business course right now. I'm like in the top end of my class, basically. But when I was doing my engineering, I would be like average, or maybe even below average, arguably, for a lot of my class. And then my second year, seeing my friends just absolutely being fantastic in what they were doing in engineering, and me just floundering about trying to get a grasp of everything, I was like, maybe I should just give up and reconsider everything, right? At this point, I'd invested 3 years worth of tuition fees and stuff, and it was like, either I accept failure and say that the last 3 years were a waste of my time and do something else, or I push forward, redo my year, do better, and come out of it stronger. And that's what I did. And I think that would be my greatest accomplishment, was coming back from that excelling in my second and third years, my final years of engineering, and coming out with a good degree from the University of Southampton. So for me, I think that would be my greatest accomplishment for sure. The next question is from at Sean the Death Angel 6668. I think I said 6668. There we go. Hopefully I was right there. I didn't add an extra 6. What new ability for any new character in Danmimo would you want? Okay, a Danmimo question now. What new ability would I like to see? It's something that we've spoken about quite a bit, and I think it would be very nice if they do it in the near future. Of course, with the game approaching its end and everything, it's unlikely that they'll invest into a completely brand new mechanic regularly. But if we had to say that there was one more new mechanic coming to the game, and it would be something that I wanted, I would probably say active skills in Danmimo, specifically active skills for assists. So right now, when we get assists and everything, it's very passive, right? It's a lot of passive skills. So it's passively activated. It's like 15% STR for the rest of the fight to all allies or something, right? And along with that, we have instant effects that are dependent on the opponent attacking you, right? Why not introduce a form of assist skill where basically you can activate it, you slide up the character icon, or there's a special new button that pops up when you click on a character and you're about to use their technique, and you can activate that active skill from the assist, and it can deal either damage, or it can heal you, or it can heal your party. It can give your allies a certain amount of STR for a certain amount of turns, maybe 50% STR for 10 turns, and it's a separate buff skill entirely, right? So that way it'll also affect the damage bonuses that you can get per STR buff skill or per effect skill. And then of course on top of that, it will not be overwritten by the assist skill or anything of that sort. So I think that would be fantastic to see, and it's something that I'm kind of hoping for. If they do drop a Hero Festa assist, that should be something we see, to be quite honest. At Necrobaku says, when are you gonna dress as a Danmimo cosplay in my transmissions or in my videos? If we get to 100 members, which is not gonna happen, I am assured about that. If we get to 100 members, I will do a live stream, probably a 6-hour live stream in a cosplay outfit, probably dressed as Belle. Maybe I'll get a white wig. I will get the armor pieces sorted out and everything, or at least the clothing in some way, shape, or form. Maybe the brown outfit, the normal brown outfit. I'll try and see if I can wear that, because the armor pieces will be extremely hard for me to make. I'm not a good artist in any way, shape, or form. I'd have to procure everything, which is very, very difficult. But the brown outfit that Belle wears in season 1, right, the first ever outfit he wears, that you see him in, I think I can pull that off potentially. So 100 members. Old Sport 4 says, what are my 5 favorite Danmachi characters? Okay, so my favorite Danmachi character is probably just Belle. I like him a lot. I think his story is very, very interesting to me. And I know a lot of people don't really like the fact that, it's not being developed, or, we're not seeing him mentioning Althea or Zord, or him learning about Althea and Zord and everything. But I feel like that gives him that extra bit. He's come from basically nothing, and of course he's got Liaris Freeze and everything, but he's dedicated. He's got that underdog mentality, which I really like, and a lot of people like it. A lot of people say don't like this whole underdog thing that Omori Sensei is going for, but on the other hand, a lot of people love it. So for me, I'm more leaning towards the people who love it for sure. I really love that underdog mentality. So for me, Belle is 1, Ryu is 2nd for sure. Third would probably be Wealth. Fourth would be I would say fourth would be Freya, and then 5th would be Reveria. I would say that would be my 5. Belle, Ryu, Reveria, Freya, and Wealth. I would say those are my 5. Those are my top 5 Danmachi characters. At Sam B9, okay, well, yeah, I would say those are my 5. I was gonna say maybe I'll chuck in Haruhime over maybe potentially either Freya or Reveria, probably Reveria, but I'm gonna keep it as those 5 for now. At Sam B9 asks, what games have similar high quality storytelling experiences with similar low gameplay requirements? FGO, I would say FGO is probably the best one out there in terms of storytelling and of course the gameplay requirements. Arguably you can clear a majority of FGO without having to need any form of SSRs 5 stars, realistically speaking, right? And if in fact I would say that the beginning part of the game, which is obviously the roughest part of the game, I would say, because it is very very dry in terms of the story until you get to like Singularity 4 or 5, I would say. But you can use your support, you can use a friend's support to just clear the majority of it, to be quite honest, very very easily, if not all of it. FGO, I would say, is one. The second one, yeah, I would probably say Arknights. I've heard a lot of good things about. I've personally never fully got into Arknights, so I can't say much about it. But I know that it's, I mean, obviously you just need to set it up as a tower defense game, and there's a bunch of guides. Again, very low gameplay requirements because all you can do is just follow YouTube videos. Realistically speaking, there's a bunch of guides like that out there. And then I would probably say, if I had to name a third game, honestly, well, I mean, I would say probably Honkai or Genshin, because let's be real, Genshin's gameplay isn't that complicated. It is very intense, but it's not complicated that much, and the story I like a lot, to be quite honest. Inazuma aside, I think they've done a good job with the story overall, and Honkai being a game that's just come out, it's doing exceptionally well. Of course, these are games I play on the more Gale Riot channel, which is my second channel. Go hit that subscribe button over there. We need to get to 500 subscribers there. It would be truly truly appreciated if you guys could go hit the subscribe button there. But yeah, I would say that those three or four games would be the ones I would go for in terms of good storytelling experience, and I would say relatively high quality. I know some people will say Genshin's not high quality or Honkai is not high quality. I enjoy it a lot. For me, it's really good quality for a free game. I mean, I'm getting a good story, bro. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. At Sly Cooper TT asks, what profession am I studying for? Well, like I said earlier on, I did my undergraduate in aeronautics and astronautics engineering, and right now I'm doing my master's in business administration, basically. So I am making a small shift towards focusing more so on business effectively right now, but I do have some experience and some knowledge of engineering. I say some because it's been a while since I've done any form of engineering, of course, right? But I would say that yes, I have some knowledge in engineering, and I can hold my own. If I were given the opportunity to practice again and experience stuff again, I could like do some modeling work in SolidWorks and stuff like that. So yeah, there you go. Ultraviolent asks, is it wrong to try to pick up girls in a dungeon? Hell no. I mean, Bell's only picked up like 4, but we move along. I mean, 4 girls in, what is it, 18 volumes? You know what, we'll take it. We will take it. Ultraviolent also asks, so what is my greatest fear? Disappointing people, I would say, is the biggest fear I have. I mean, I feel like you know, when people say like, you know, I'm disappointed in you or something, it is always a terrible feeling. And of course, you know, with the second year, I think that was like it was my greatest fears come to life, basically, because you know, up until that point, my mom is a single mother. She spent so much money on me to, you know, push me into you know, engineering college and university and everything, and you know, ending up doing what I did in the second year was absolutely disastrous. So disappointing people and you know, being a little bit of a failure to the people I care about is a little bit, I say a little bit, being a failure to the people I love is probably my greatest fear. When will I make a team building video of War Games edition? I mean, if you guys want me to do that, maybe I'll do it in the future. Team building for War Games is a bit more trickier to do because it's not like Record Buster where it's like very straightforward. It's not difficult to comprehend exactly how to do what to do, basically, right? Whereas for War Games, it's a lot more complicated because there's so many factors to consider, so many things to get to, you know, work when it comes to War Games teams, right? So maybe in the future, let me know if you guys would like to see it. I'll try and do it if possible, but I would probably need some help and advice from some other people that I'll talk to in regards to you know, like some hints and suggestions in regards to good team building, basically. At Oh My King 3010 asks your waifu in Danmachi. If you answer anyone besides Ryu, Seer, or Eyes, then you are wrong. JK, not really. All right. I mean, okay, it's Ryu for sure. No. Being real though, I would say if I had to, I'll give you top three so that you'll be happy there. For me, it's Freya, Ryu, and then it would be Riveria for me personally as my waifus. Guy Phantom, who by the way, thank you so much for the membership. You don't understand how much that helps me out, honestly. Hitting becoming a member of the channel, it's truly appreciated. What are my list of 5 favorite goddess and gods in Danmachi? Hephaestus, in terms of being a god slash goddess, right? Specifically in terms of being god slash goddess, I would say Hephaestus, Takemikazuchi, Loki, Ganesha, Astrea, and who would be the 5th one? I'm trying to think. I would probably say Freya, just because of, I would literally be one of her familiar members just sucking up to her, to be quite honest. So maybe Freya, but again, I feel like that's a little bit of a cop out. But those 4 for sure: Hephaestus, Takemikazuchi, Ganesha, and Astrea, I would say, are my favorite gods and goddesses. Okay, this is a very interesting question. At Ultraviolent asks, he's asked a lot of questions here. Have you ever practiced kissing in a mirror? No. Funnily enough, no. I know a lot of people who might have done that. I'm not gonna name names. Actually, I don't even know if I know anybody, but I've heard of stories like that. But I personally don't know anybody, and I have never kissed anybody in a mirror. Well, there is nobody to kiss in a mirror, but I've never kissed in a mirror specifically. That's kind of a weird way of saying it, but yes, I've never kissed a mirror, particularly as practice. How would it even feel like? It would be like really weird. You're kissing a solid wall at that point. That's not good at all. It wouldn't really work at all. Ultraviolent says, who would you marry in the Danmachiverse? Do I have a girlfriend? And I've already answered the 3rd question. In terms of marrying the Danmachi universe, I would probably go for probably Freya. But no, I would get my ass beat by everybody in the Freya familiar, so probably not. Riveria is also a no-fly zone. All the elves would come and kill me. Hephaestus, Welf will kill me. I would probably go for Daphne, Loki. Daphne would be not a bad option. I kind of like Daphne. I feel like Daphne is a very underrated girl in the Danmachi universe. Do I have a girlfriend? No, not at this moment in time. I haven't had a girlfriend since I was 18. No, 17. Sorry, 17. 17 was the last time I had I had a girlfriend. Only once, basically. Oishi Travel 2436 says, I don't know how Skillflow works or how to use it. I think I have a video on Skillflow actually. Let me just check. Let me see. Gale Riot Skillflow. We'll come back to the questions in just a moment. Oishi Travel, yes, I have a video right here. How to Skillflow. I have 2 videos on it actually. I have a Skillflow guide and a Skillflow. But basically, Skillflow is effectively, the way Skillflow works is that you basically set up your characters to do their skills. So 1, 2, and 3 is their skill numbers. So skill 1 will be 1, skill 2 will be 2, skill 3 will be 3, and then the blue icon is their essay effectively. You have to set it up so that each turn basically you can set up a character to do specific action every single turn basically. So you want to try and just effectively set up your characters to do a certain set of actions every single turn so that you don't have to basically manually do it yourself. It's a great way to auto a stage effectively, like Familiar Rush or Wreck-It Buster. Toshi asks, would you rather kiss a frog or a guy? Why not both? No, I'm just joking. Frog, no, I wouldn't mind kissing a guy. I wouldn't mind kissing a guy. I mean, as long as, hey, listen, if the opposing guy is all right with it, and we're homies, it's all fine. It's all fine between homies, surely, right? Zin Kali says, Ryu or Eyes? Ryu. 100% Ryu for me personally. Ultraviolent asks, what is my YouTube income? Now, I was gonna make a bit of a meme here. I was gonna do a full-on calculation and get to like 69 or 420 at the end of it all and make a meme number and stuff. But this is not a question you should be asking anybody. And this is where this is a very, very personal question. It's like asking somebody what their salary is and what their wages are. You don't go around asking people that. Even your friends, you don't go and ask what their wages are unless they're willing to, tell you, or you're really close friends and you don't mind telling it to one another. But this is not a question you should be asking anybody. I will say I get an okay amount. I'm not like, being able to live off of it. I'm gonna have to find a job and everything to cover for rent and everything. It's not enough in that regards, but it is a solid amount for me to have a little bit of fun, enjoy life a little bit, and have a little bit extra money to come in and basically be able to get stuff that I want effectively. That's about it. But I'm not gonna specify a number because that is not a question you should be asking. There you go. Gabrielle Durand here asks, did you hope one day a Danmachi game where we create our own character in an original familiar with a story by the author will be made one day? That would be my favorite. Anime, manga, games like Sword Art Online, Fatal Bullet, Xenoverse, Attack on Titan 2 is a dream for me. I know there was a game that we were familiar got, but it never got out of Japan. Yes, Danmachi, Orario, Rhapsodia. But I prefer to be an adventurer, really. That series has the perfect association of world mythology with a small side of RPG with Fate series, that my favorite Japanese series. Okay, so basically he wants a create a character game where you are an adventurer under either original familiar or an actual familiar. Either or, I think, is fine with him. I would love it. I would honestly love it, to be quite honest. It would have to be a bit of a mini story basically by the author. Maybe it can take place way before Bell, to be quite honest. I think that would make a lot of sense potentially, right, as well. Before the events of actual Danmachi, maybe before the events of even a Stray Record potentially, right? I think it would be kind of cool. Maybe during the period with Zeus and Hera potentially, who knows? I would love to see that potentially happening, to be quite honest. I would love to see that happen. Do I think will it happen? I don't know. I realistically don't know if that will happen, but it would be amazing if it does. I think it would. I really hope it does happen. We do need a better console game that's not Infinite Combat, and we need a console game that's not a gacha game as well. So hopefully something like this does happen in the future. Zinkali asks, should I waste time reading the Ai's story and Lafia story in Danmimo if it's a copy paste of season 1? Probably not. If you watch season 1, you can kind of get away with it. It is a little bit more in depth, so I would suggest that reading it won't be a complete waste of time. But honestly, at that point, I would probably suggest reading the light novels. Read volumes 1 to 4 instead, and it'll be a lot better that way. I think it'll be a lot better for you because it'll be a lot more in depth. The characters will be done properly because the Ai's and Lafia story are literally pretty much a 80 to 90% adaptation of the anime with some little bit of extra bits and bobs here and there. But otherwise, it's like you said, it's a near copy paste of season 1 of ESO, right? So you'd rather just read the light novels instead. So I would say reading the light novels for volumes 1 to 4 will be a little bit better than reading through the Ai's and Lafia story in Danmimo. Oh My King responds saying, I think when Ai's trains Bell, it's worth it. It's really cute moment. True, very true as well. But yes, there you go. There's the Q&A. That's all the questions answered. Let me know what you guys thought about the questions. If you got your question answered, let me know what you guys think. And of course, like I said, if you have any further questions you want answering, leave it in the comment section down below and I will try and answer them in a day or two's time, probably, or over the next day or two, basically, when I get the free time to do so. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Remember to leave a like down below, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys in the next one. Take it easy, everybody. Bye bye.